And so now, without further ado, are you salivating? Are you ready? Here is Chef Rosario.
Hey, here I am. Thank you for listening to that beautiful music to my ear. The first thing you're going to be doing today is our Insalata Caprese, but before we get into that, I do have a couple things I want to say. First of all, I want to thank you all for being here and for your generous contributions and buying the tickets and making love offerings for our sponsors, especially. We thank you. I just want you to know that every dollar that we collect goes to the benefit of our spiritual center, Unity in the Foothills in Torrington, Connecticut. So thank you again for that. And also, I just want to thank Kathy and Jean for all the work that they did, all the behind the scenes work that is making all this possible today. Thank you, girls. I really appreciate it. Okay, Capri, a beautiful place. I was there. I was in Capri a number of years ago. Let me just tell you a little bit about it. It's in the Bay of Naples, and it's in the Tararin Sea, something like that. And it's a short ride from the mainland out to Capri. And so you take this flat boat, and it has all these chairs, like it's a theater chairs, and you sit on there, and they take you out, and usually they have some kind of entertainment on the boat. The day that I went on, we had this older Italian gentleman playing the accordion and singing Italian folk songs. So it was quite entertaining and getting you into the mood of things. And also, when tourists go on the vacations in Italy, they expect an Italian experience. So the Italians know how to do it, I can assure you that. Capri itself is quite beautiful. It's mountainous, and there's all the villas are located on the sides of the mountain overlooking the sea and the other mountains that are there. It's very beautiful. It's a resort community. Many people do their vacations there, and even in the ancient Roman times, the emperor and the elites of Rome used to summer there in Capri, and they had these elaborate villas, and some of the rooms are still there today, and you can see them. Um, Also in Capri, there's some wonderful things, but in particular, there is one natural attraction they have there that is probably the greatest attraction in southern Italy. When I say southern Italy, and talk about like from Naples on down, if you can picture the peninsula of Italy, it's about 2/3 of the way down is Naples on the left side. And from that point on, it's considered southern Italy. But they have what they call their right off the coast of Capri, the Blue Grotto. Maybe some of you been there, I'm not sure. But if you haven't and you ever get the opportunity, go and see the Blue Grotto because you will never forget it. And what it is I'll explain it as I go along, but you get in another boat. You got to take boats for everything here. And maybe 10 or 12 people in the boat, and you go out to the area where the grotto is. The grotto is nothing more than a cave out on the water. And then you have to switch to a smaller boat because the opening to get in is quite small. So you have to go into a rowboat in order to get in. And that's exactly what we do, not knowing what to expect. When you get in there, you immediately see the darkness all the way around you. But then when you look down, you see the most dazzling, the most perfect colored blue you ever wanted to see in your life. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And you wonder, how could this be? I'm in a dark place. How could this happen? The way it happens is there's a cavity underneath, and through that cavity, the sun perks itself and it illuminates all the water above. And it's been around for a long, long time. Like I said, the emperor used it as his private swimming pool, and it was decorated with Greek mythical statues and so forth, which have been removed now because they have to be preserved in the museum. But it is quite the thing. Again, if you ever see it, you will never forget it. It's like the statue of David I saw in Florence. When you see that, you never forget it either. But anyway, that's a little bit about Capri. Now, regarding the Caprice salad, I know that all of you have had it already. And if you haven't had it, somebody made it for you, and you made it yourself, whichever way, but you've had it. I can assure you that, because it's nothing more than tomatoes, mozzarella cheese, and basil leaves, and a drizzle of olive oil. Carlos, would you get the basil leaves for me in the refrigerator, please?
Oh, chef, this is fun. Are you growing your own basil, or did this basil come to us from the auspices of the grocery store?
You talking about the cheese or the basils?
The basil.
Oh, the
Yeah.
basil. Yeah. You can buy it in the supermarket.
Mhm.
And hand me that, Carlos, that vase. This is how you buy it.
Nice.
And I picked my own leaves, so they're nice and fresh.
Ooh.
Thank you. All right, now I'd like to make a salad for you because, usually the ones you have at home or get in a restaurant, you put it into a plate and they alternate the tomato, the cheese, the basil, and they keep alternating until they fill up the plate, and then they drizzle it with olive oil, and it's very delicious. But I'm going to do a little something different for you today. I'm going to make personal salads, and so it's a special presentation. You might like it, and if you do, you might want to serve it to your guests or your celebrations of your family, or however you want to do it. But I'm going to show you how to do it. I've got my dish here. I'm going to start by putting a slice of tomato. Slice of cheese goes on top of that. And then a basil leaf goes on top of that. Are you able to see all this that I'm doing?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
good. Then I'm going to put another slice of tomato. And I'm going to slide in my piece of onion now. The onion is not part of the original recipe. That's something that I'm adding because I like it and my family likes it. So I'm going to put in the slice of onion. It's red onion.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to go back to my cheese and my basil leaf.
Oh, chef, that is really tall. I've never seen it tall like that.
Yes, and then it's topped off with the tomato. And then I'm going to pin it. So it's nice and solid like that. Now I'm not finished yet. I have to put a couple more basil leaves on here, and I made a dressing for it. The dressing is very simple. It's 2/3 olive oil and 1/3 balsamic vinegar. As simple as that. I'm going to add some salt to it. I'm going to add some pepper. Okay, here I go.
Mm. Ooh, my mouth is watering right now. Oh, that looks so
I'd
good.
like to hear that.
Ooh.
Okay, and one more little thing here. A little more basil.
Mm.
There we go. Insalata Caprese.
Oh, chef. Bravo, bravo, Chef Rosario.
I'm going to ask
Bravo.
Carlos to put that on my dining table. And
Chef,
I'm going to make one more because I want to show you how you cut it and eat it. It's very
okay.
easy. So,
While you're making that, I would love to ask you a question. What's your favorite olive oil to use?
you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking,
Okay.
what's your favorite?
It has to be first press. That's the most important thing. First press means it's the very first oil that comes out of the olive. That's when you get the strongest and best olive taste. There are so many on the market now. If you go out and look at the shelves, you don't know what to do. I have found out that you have to, over time, that I find the ones that I like. And actually, the one I'm using now, believe it or not, is it's from a Dutch store, but it's organic. And I tasted it, I loved it, and that's what I'm using here today for my
Oh,
salad. But it's kind of a personal thing. You're gonna have to do a few to find the one you like, but make sure it's first press extra virgin olive oil.
okay. And we have a question
Yes,
uh, from Cecilia. Is that cold pressed?
yes,
Cold
it is.
pressed.
You'll find that they press it again, for the second press and the third press.
Mhm.
And sometimes I buy that one too because I use it for sauteing and for
Okay,
salads also. And so I find it very handy. So I
great.
usually have both on hand here. And sometimes what I do also is I buy a mixture, and you could buy this already prepared of sunflower oil and olive oil. And I like to use that for my cooking purposes. It's very tasty.
Nice. Thank you, Chef.
Oh, you're welcome.
Is anybody else surprised at how tall this is? I'm finding that amazing. And I think we have some people at home who are making this.
Really? Okay.
There's Lisa. Lisa, are you making this along with Chef? Can you hold yours up? Oh, look. Look at that. Lisa's
All
they're
right.
making, oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. Yay.
I'm going to put my dressing on this one. And a little more basil.
Mm.
Ooh.
Chef, what I'm thinking here is we often think of this as a summer dish, but we can have this all year
Oh,
round.
absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah. Even on
Because
a
today
cold
we
and
can buy
rainy.
everything all year round. There was a time where you couldn't buy a decent tomato in the wintertime. Or basil, forget it. You only saw that during the growing season, but now you can get it all year round. Okay, I'm going to show you now how we eat this. We hold on to the anchor here and we just cut down. Saw right down.
Oh, look at that.
It breaks up at that point, and then you just go across, cut it into smaller pieces. And then it's in the dressing, so it's acquiring a very delicious taste to it. And you just keep going around. I took the thing out, but you keep cutting around until you're finished with it. So that's caprese.
Beautiful. Chef, we have another question.
Go.
What type of tomato do you recommend?
Well, of course, now that we can't get our own garden tomatoes, the season just passed. I use different kind of tomatoes. I use this little plum tomato sometimes when I want to make a sauce because it has very few seeds in it. And these particular tomatoes are the right on the vine tomato.
Mm.
That's the one that I'm using today. That's the one I find that I like the best because it has a lot of juice, so to speak, to it, which makes for a better dressing.
Mm.
Um, my favorite salad, to be honest with you, is a salad of tomatoes and hot peppers
Oh,
along with the dressing. That's my favorite. I love hot peppers and I can't get enough of them.
nice.
Okay. We're going to move on now to the next thing.
Ooh, who's excited? Because that next thing is pizza.
Yes.
Ooh. How many people here love, love, love
I'm in a
pizza?
very convenient spot here because I have my sink right over here and I have my oven right behind me. So
Uh-huh.
I'm ready to go and I got all my stuff around me. If you saw it, you say, what's going on here?
Hey, chef, what's going on
All
there?
right. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going on. We're going to go on to our pizza Margarita.
Ooh,
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about that first. How did it get its name? Well, back in the early 1800s, King Umberto and Queen Margarita were invited to Naples, Italy for pizza. So she requested that the pizza maker make a variety of pizzas, which he did, and it turns out that this is the pizza that she liked the most. So it was dubbed Queen Margarita or Pizza Margarita pizza, and that has gone on now for hundreds of years. It's still a very popular pizza in Italy, and certainly in this country, it's a very popular one, and around the world. You know, pizza started very simply in Italy, but as the tourists came in, they got a look at it and they went home and they wanted it and so forth. And as it happens in the early 1900s or so, that's when the Italian immigrants started coming to the U.S., especially from southern Italy, which was a very poor area of Italy. And of course, they brought some of their culture and their recipes and so forth with them. So they were making pizza at home until regular people got the whiff of it and they said, we want that too. So that's when it started to be commercialized. Most of the immigrants settled in cities here in the United States when they got here. So the first pizzeria was in New York. It's called Lombardi's.
oh,
It was opened in 1905 and it's
yep,
still in operation today.
yep.
They moved to a different location, but they just moved the oven with them. That was the most important thing.
Yes, yes, I know Lombardi's. Oh, wow.
Oh, cool,
Yes,
cool. Oh, glad to hear that.
yeah,
And anyway, pizza really caught on in this country here, and our pizza was different. A lot of things that we call Italian here are really Italian American, like spaghetti and meatballs. That's not really an Italian dish. That's an Italian American dish. But the thing that we're going to make with the son of a gun, with the pizza, is that we have the immigrants who started their own pizzerias because they knew how to do it. And so what happened was that it became so popular that it started to spread to other cities like Boston and Philadelphia, Washington. It was mostly an East Coast thing at one time because that's where the Italian immigrants were. And then it started to spread west, and Chicago became a big pizza hub. But it took a while for it to cross the United States. But I would say today it's everywhere. I know, I can remember when I was younger, and people say you can't buy a piece of pizza in Los Angeles. Either it doesn't exist or you wouldn't want to eat it. But that's all changed now. Pizza is everywhere. There's a civilized population. There are pizzas that you can count on, and not just here, around the world. Other countries copied us because they wanted to be like Americans. So they started making the pizzas the way we do here. So that's a little bit of story about pizza in America. It's part of our culture now. You know, it's part of what we do here.
yeah,
Call a pizzeria on Friday night and see how busy they are. Whoa.
right.
Okay, I'm going to go on now. I'm going to make the dough first, and you know, it has to rise. So let me tell you a bit about that too. You know, if in a real old Italian lady or gentleman were making pizza right now, they make this most beautiful dough, but it had to rise maybe 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. And, you know, being American, we don't really want to wait that long. So we have come up with a faster way of getting our dough to rise. And what it is we're using rapid rise, instant yeast, fast acting. So we can do it quick.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do. Let me
All
just
right.
move the things up here. Okay, we're going to start with a cup of warm water in order to get our yeast to rise. This is the way we start. So I'm going to go right to my sink. It doesn't have to be hot. It doesn't have to be cold. It just has to be warm.
Okay, as Chef Rosario is at his sink, Carlos, how are you doing? Our sous chef. Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. Enjoying myself immensely.
Oh, good. We're happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yay.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Oh, he's my right arm, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, I have the warm water. Now I'm going to put in a tablespoon of honey. Whoa.
Honey. Nice.
You have to have something sweet with the yeast. People use sugar and all different kinds of things, but I'm using honey.
Okay, chef is using honey.
I'm looking for flavor. That's why I'm using honey.
Mm.
We want a crust that's going to have a flavor to it. We don't want it flat. So that's the honey. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of olive oil.
Oh, olive oil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a revelation. I wasn't expecting that, chef.
Well, it's a good thing from the point of view it helps in the mixing of the dough because it gets, as you get to the end with all the flour that you need, it gets kind of tight. So the oil helps. And again, the big reason we're adding for it is flavor. Everything is flavor.
Flavor, flavor, flavor.
Okay, we're going to put in a tablespoon of the instant yeast now.
And when that yeast goes in, that's when I love that smell, chef, of the
Doesn't that
yeast.
smell wonderful?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's that. Now I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt, which I have right here. And I'm going to let this sit for just a couple of minutes till it starts to foam.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, what I'm going to do is start adding the flour to it.
What kind of flour are you using, chef?
I'm using King Arthur, flour. I think as far as brands go, it's probably a very good, considered a very good brand.
And just regular, is it baking flour or just regular white flour?
It's regular all-purpose flour.
All purpose. Okay.
There are some people now who are using a special flour they call 00 flour, and which is a much finer flour, so it gives you a little bit different effect. But in Italy, they use that a lot, the 00 flour. And now I notice you can buy it anywhere. I was in the store a couple of days ago, and I'm seeing that there's more and more of it than I've ever seen before. So apparently, it's catching on also.
Oh, wow.
It's like a cake flour. It looks like a cake flour when you're working with it.
It's very fine.
But it gives you, it helps in the crusting of the pizza, I understand.
Wow.
I'm trying it one of these days.
00 flour.
00
And
flour.
we have a question, chef. Can
Go
you use gluten-free flour?
You can, but I can't really answer that question because I don't, I haven't used gluten-free flour, but I know that there are recipes for pizza with gluten-free flour. And if you just go on the internet and ask for recipes for gluten-free pizza, you'll get a number of them on the screen. So it's readily available. I just didn't go that direction. I have no need to go that direction. Let's put it that way. I like my stuff. If I'm going to have something good, I like it the original.
Understood.
This is almost ready here. I have 3 cups
Smell
of flour
good,
here.
chef? Does it smell good?
Oh, yes. The yeast smelled wonderful.
Good.
Why does it smell so good, I wonder?
I don't know. It just does.
I'm going to be using 3 cups of flour. I'm not going to put it all together at one time. I'm going to do it a slow process because we want to make sure that it all mixes. We don't want a lump here and a lump there. So I'm going to start that process in just a minute. And I say 3 cups, but sometimes you need a little bit less. Sometimes you need a little bit more. They tell me that that's because of atmospheric conditions and humidity and different reasons like that determines how much flour you need exactly. But I go by feel anyway, so I don't use the exact measurement thing. I get an idea what I need, and then I take it from there. And because my hands are going to be in this eventually, and with my hands I can tell a lot.
Ah, I love that.
So let me start by putting some flour in the pan here.
And Heather has brought into the chat box that King Arthur makes a measure for measure gluten-free flour that you can use the same way you would regular flour. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to start the mix now with the flour.
Okay. So that's the yeast mixture that you've just now put into the flour, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to put the flour into the yeast.
Flour into the yeast.
Yes. I'm going to mix it till it's all part of the flour, part of the wet part, I should say. Now I'm going to add more. Eventually, I'll get to a point where I can't stir it anymore, and that's when my hands take over.
Okay. So for those of us at home, we're looking for the point where we can't stir it anymore.
Yeah, you see it's getting thicker as I go along.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Won't be long, I'll tell you that.
Well, I love how generous you're being with your flour, and I love that you're not measuring exactly. That's so reassuring.
Well, you know, they say when you bake, you have to be exact. But when you cook, it's up to you what you do. You have to be creative. That's what I like about cooking, is creative.
That's good news for all of us cooks, that we don't have to be exact. And that's a 1/2 cup measuring cup, Chef?
Just a little shovel I'm using.
Oh, it's a shovel. Okay.
Just to move it into the pan.
All right.
Okay, it's starting to get tight now.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to switch.
Are you going in, Chef, with your hand?
I'm going in right now.
All right.
This is the
He's
fun
going.
part. I love that feeling.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna put this over here. Doris, would you give me some towel paper, please?
Oh,
That's great, thank you.
now we have a question as
Yeah,
you're
go ahead.
working there, Chef.
Go ahead.
When I asked my mother to teach me to make Polish babka and how much flour to use, she said, you can tell by the feel. But how do you know how it feels if this is your first attempt?
Okay. What you're looking for is when it reaches the point where it doesn't stick to the sides of the pan anymore, and also is not sticking to your hands, at least with this dough, that's the case. When it's not sticking anymore, you know, blotches on your hand, you know you're all right. And it's got to feel soft, right? But if it feels moist at all when you're doing it, but sometimes you're kneading it, but when you get into the middle of it, it's still a little bit moist. That means you got to separate a little and add some more flour to it. So that
Okay.
you have it even throughout the dough. That's why you need it, to get it spread out evenly.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go in here with one hand to start with.
Oh, one-handed. Okay.
Start with, yes.
Yeah.
I-
Sounds like, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. It sounds like this is something you just have to practice, practice, practice.
Carnegie Hall, what a place. What a great place that
Oh, yeah.
was. Okay, I need more flour because I feel, see it sticking to my hand.
Yep. Yep.
Ooh. Eventually, I'm going to move this to my table, or I'm going to
Okay.
need it. This
All
is just
right.
a mixing process.
Can you show us what's inside the bowl for just a second so we can see what it's looking like? Okay. All right. Okay, thanks. Because as you showed that to us, it looked to me as though it wasn't all integrated yet. That's
That's
not
why I'm
yet.
continuing to go here.
Yeah.
It's sticking, there's a lot of it stuck to the side of the pan too.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to incorporate that as well.
You know, I'm learning right now about your one-handed technique. Why haven't I thought to do that? It makes so much more sense
Well, thank
than
you.
getting both hands, all sticky.
Yeah, well, when I need it, I'm gonna be using both hands.
Oh, okay.
This is just the mixing part. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm reaching into the center of it and seeing if I feel any moisture. And to be honest with you, I do feel a little bit more. So there's
Okay.
dry flour stuck to the sides of the pan. I want to incorporate that into my dough. I think I'm getting there now.
Can you show us, Chef, so we can see?
Yes, I'm going to take it out right now.
Oh,
I need
okay.
a little flour on my board here. I'm going to take it out.
Oh, look at
and I'm gonna
that.
move this over here.
Oof.
I'll move this because don't want to block anything.
Right,
I'm
right.
just going to squeeze it to bring it together first.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start my kneading.
Oh, that's a revelation to me. Squeeze first, then knead.
Well, everybody has their own technique.
Yeah. What's it smell like, Chef?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Almost as well, not quite as good as when it's coming out of the oven, but
Yeah.
it smells good. Well, we put a lot of different seasonings in here purposely to make it taste good. So
I'm seeing that dough really find its integrity. It's like you can feel it, that it's finding its bounce and its spring.
yeah. Again, it's part of the mixing process. We want to make sure that we have it evenly
Mm-hmm.
without lots of dough in different places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And from here, I mean, the dough looks amazing. You're happy with the texture?
Yes, it's feeling good, feeling just right.
Oh, good.
Feels a little silky,
Uh-huh.
looks a little silky, I should say. And it's feeling nice and soft.
And
It's sort of a
yeah.
cuddly feeling.
Oh, that's so nice. And we can all see that it's not sticking to your hands.
No, not anymore.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
it's getting close now.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I think we're just about there.
Okay.
Another minute. This is such an important part. I don't want to skip anything.
Right. It's also neat to see that you are, while you are kneading it, you have a style of kneading that's gentle. You're not pounding the flour, you know,
Thank you.
you're not pounding the dough.
Well, I'm a gentle soul.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I formed it into a ball, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little olive oil in this bowl, and I'm going to spread it around the bottom and the sides. And then I'm going to put the ball of dough right in there. I'm going to put a little more olive oil on the top of this
Yum.
and spread it around.
Mm.
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it in saran wrap.
Mhm.
Will you excuse me for just a moment?
Yeah. Mm.
Oh, what service. Oh, I have a wonderful assistant today.
Yeah,
My
you do.
granddaughter did it last time. I'm sure you know that. And she called me this morning and she wasn't well at all. I said,
Oh.
what am I going to do now without my technician, without my partner?
Here
And
comes
the
Carlos.
first person I thought of here was Carlos, because he's
Yeah.
always there when I need him.
Oh, Carlos. Yeah. Everybody needs a Carlos in their lives.
Yes, they do.
That's right.
And my niece is coming in there too. His wife, my niece, is there. Where are you, Lori? She's over there. She is waving her hand now. Hi.
Nice.
All right, we're going to set this aside now. And I know we've been talking about questions. If there are none other, I will go to making the sauce next. Anybody have any questions before we go there? Good. All right, great. I'm going to put away some of the things that are here. Make way for the next wave.
Chef, as you're doing that, would
Yeah,
you mind if we just took a moment to thank our sponsors?
go right ahead.
Okay. Kathy, take it away. We want to thank our sponsors. Carlos, oh, I'm a sponsor. Carlos Brock, April Marshall, Mike McCluskey, Russell Sirianni, Barbara Schaefer, Rob and Ellie Van Wyck, Beth Nyerick, Lisa Sheehan, Jean Tom, Lina Petelier, and John McCluskey. Thank you, sponsors.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yay.
We couldn't do it without you either, so thank you very much.
Brought to you
Hey.
by our sponsors. Okay.
The tomato sauce that goes on top of the pizza. This is probably the most important part for real Italians. The tomato is number one. It's they want to get it as authentic as possible. Now, when it comes to tomato sauce for pizza, you can buy it, already made in a can or in a bottle, whatever. I don't use that stuff there. I'd rather make it myself. But this is a sauce that you don't cook. And the reason why you don't cook it is that when you cook it with all the different herbs and seasonings, it acquires that flavor, which is very beautiful, and it's a wonderful sauce to use. But Italians like to keep it as authentic as possible when it comes to the tomato. So they don't cook it. You still use the herbs, but you don't cook it. So we're going to start here on making our sauce. Oh, also, notice these tomatoes are in a bottle.
Yes.
They call this in Italy, they call it posata. In Italy, you can buy tomatoes in a bottle and you can buy them in a can, but this is the way most people buy them. And the reason why it's offered this way, the reason why they use it is because when it comes out of a can, it does have some tiny little something from the can, which you cannot help. But when it comes out of a bottle, there's no interference. It's more authentic, the tomato. So that's why we use it.
Wow. Okay.
I have a 15 ounce. This is more than I need, but I'm going to have some left over.
So chef,
Yeah.
once that's in, could you kind of tilt the measuring cup so we can see what the jarred
I'm
tomato?
just starting with the tomato right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna add next, oh, here's a thing too with Italians. They want it so fresh, the sauce, that they add to the bottle sauce a fresh tomato.
Okay.
This is a plum tomato. And again, we use it because it has very few seeds in it. What I'm gonna do now is chop it up and put it right in the sauce. And that's gonna enhance, again, the flavor of the tomato, and that's the goal.
So I'm still digesting the fact, and because my jaw dropped when you said we weren't going to cook the sauce, I'm still digesting that. That's a revelation to me. I didn't know that.
Well, if you don't cook it, you're gonna get more of the taste of the original stuff that you're putting in there,
Huh.
because you're not mixing the flavor with something else. It's each one retains their own flavor. It's very important that the amounts that you put in there of herbs, because it's got to blend perfectly. You can't overdo it with any particular herb. For example, oregano. Oregano, I'm going to be putting a pinch in here, but you got to be very careful when you use oregano, because it has a very strong substance to it, should I say?
Yeah.
And when you use it, if you just overdo it just slightly, your whole dish is going to taste like oregano.
Ah.
And, whether you're making a stew or a soup or a pizza, whatever, if you use a little too much oregano, forget it. It's going to taste like oregano. I don't like that myself. I like oregano, but I don't want it to dominate whatever I'm eating. I like the hint of it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First, let me get this tomato all cut up here.
Yes, I have often made the mistake of being a little too generous with oregano. You know.
I mean, it's a wonderful thing, but
Mm. And I'm looking over at your dough, and is it my imagination, or are we beginning to see some condensation on the saran wrap
it's on the move.
a little bit? So while Chef is cutting his beautiful tomato, was anybody else surprised by that this is a sauce that you don't cook? Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So, but Carlos's wife is saying, no, I'm not surprised. Well, you're in the know.
That's Lori.
Hi, Aubrey. Those of us who weren't in the know this is a revelation.
Okay, now I'm going to add, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Here we go again. You see, I put it in everything.
Yeah. Mm.
1. There's 2. Now I'm going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt.
And Chef, for those of us who don't know, why are you using kosher salt?
Because it's a salt that a lot of people won't use anything but kosher salt. And what it is that it's the way it's refined, I think, makes the difference. It's not as smooth as the regular salt, and also it doesn't have the iodine in it. So it's more authentic salt. And again, authentic is our name here.
Yep.
Add the salt, and now we're going, the next thing here is I have 2 cloves of fresh garlic. Now, let me caution you right here. This is an option. This is something that I'm putting into my sauce because I like it. But if you look up the sauce on the internet, or you look at somebody's old recipe, you won't see the garlic. But I'm going to add it because that's what we like here.
Well, I've always felt you can't have too much garlic. I think.
Yes. Usually people complain about me. I put too much garlic, but you know, I lose myself when I'm doing it. I love it so much.
Who here loves garlic? Show of hands. Garlic.
Hey,
Hey. Boy, I feel like I can smell that.
oh yeah, it smells, but I love it. And let's see what else we have. A couple of basil leaves right here. I'm gonna chop them up and put them in there.
That's so nice to see. And you rolled them, didn't you, before you chopped them? I
Yeah,
saw
it
you do
makes it
that.
easy to cut then.
Oh, okay. I gotta say, that's another revelation for me.
Oh, you can do that. I do with basil or what's the Spanish one? I can't think of it right now.
Cilantro?
Cilantro, yeah. I
Yeah.
do the same way. I
Who
roll it
knew?
and cut it.
Did other people
That's
know
the
to
big
roll
deal.
it? Yeah.
Pardon me?
Okay.
I
Other
got
people.
the oregano now,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna put what I consider the right amount for me.
And how much is that? Like just a little
It's a
pinch?
nice, it's a pinch with your two front
Okay.
fingers. Pinch. Carlos, would you turn that TV off because I keep looking at it?
Sure.
All right, okay, we got it all combined now, so I'm just gonna stir it.
Don't cook, stir.
Okay, now I'm gonna set it aside.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the next thing. I wanted to talk to you about the, I wanted to turn the oven on.
Chef, we've got a really interesting question.
All right, be right back.
Okay. Chef is now turning his oven on. Sous chef Carlos is preparing.
Chef should have started the oven a few minutes ago. You know, I have used a pizza stone in the past and it cracked on me and I ordered another one from Amazon and it arrived cracked. So I gave up on that. And what I'm using is a mock pizza stone, And you have it already in your house because I have it in mine. I'm sure you have it in yours. And this is what it looks like. Just a bake tray with a lip on it. All you do is turn it upside down and put it in your oven.
Oh.
And what happens is if you have your oven set at 500, this will conduct the heat and it'll get up to 700 or 800. And the reason why you want the heat is any moisture that's in the dough of the pizza, it'll dry that up and you make your pizza more crispy.
Ooh.
So that's why we use the oven stone. And I already have one in the oven heating up.
Nice. Chef, we have a question here. Can you see the oregano in the sauce?
You can't see it, no.
Okay.
You can see just the basil and the tomatoes pieces. That's all I can see. Because the sauce is a little bit, I'm using puree tomato,
Uh-huh.
and which means it's a tomato that's been strained. So if you don't have that or you can't find it, you can use the whole tomatoes and the diced tomatoes, but I would suggest that I have this little processor that I put them in and I turn it to a puree.
Okay. So,
Not that anything would go wrong if you used something with chunkies in it too. It'll still be good, but I'm trying to keep it as authentic as I can.
oh yeah. Now,
Any
when you poured that bottle of tomato in,
Oh, the tomato, yeah.
yeah, when you pour that glass bottle, would you mind just, because I couldn't quite see what it said on the label, so we know what to look for?
Here it is. It says the name brand is Muti, and that's a very popular brand in Italy.
Uh-huh.
And down below that, it says tomato puree
Okay.
posada. Posada means that it's tomatoes in a bottle.
Okay.
And you can have a posada that have chunks in it, or whole, whatever. They don't usually put whole in because it doesn't fit well in the bottle. But this is mostly how they make their sauces. Just pour it out of the bottle. Now this is a little bit on the thick side, so you probably would have to put a little. Usually, what you do is you start the your sauce going, and you would add a little bit of water to it, just to bring it down a little bit. Because as it cooks, it thickens also. If you were cooking it.
If you were cooking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This here, we're not cooking. I
Yeah.
might add that you just can't really buy these anywhere. There's very few stores that sell these. I did notice the other day in ShopRite. I saw them on the shelf there, I think for the first time.
Oh.
I happen to buy these, believe it or not, in Ocean State.
Oh.
I like to go in there on a regular basis, and you never know what you're going to find in there.
Uh-huh.
And when I see something like this, I grab them because I don't know where else I can get them. For example, they had beauty tomatoes in a can. And I priced them at Stop and Shop. There were, for one can, it was $4.59, which is a lot for a can of tomatoes. But I was able to buy the beauty tomatoes in Ocean State for $2.
Aha.
So I grabbed a dozen or more out of it, and I still have them stored away. I use them on occasion when I want something special. So tomatoes are very important. If you can open a can or a bottle of tomatoes, and if you can just touch it and taste it, and if you see that it's sweet enough, it's fine. But a lot of the tomatoes that you use have a little citric taste to it when you taste it, which means that when you're making the sauce with those cans, you should add like a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar, just to take away some of the citric acid. So that's a little trick you learn along the way too, to make your tomatoes more suited for what you want. And that's another thing you got to be careful about, because you can't go too much with that sweet. Otherwise, your sauce will be too sweet, and that wouldn't be very nice either.
Yeah, I've made that mistake. And that's for when we're cooking the sauce, right?
That's if you were cooking
If you're cooking it.
sauce, yes, or sauce for pasta too is what I'm talking about
Mhm.
also. And so be very careful when you're using things like, it's better to add just a tiny bit.
Mhm.
Taste it after a couple minutes or so, see if it's right. If not, add a little bit more, but add as you go along, not at the first dump.
Okay.
Okay, now the oven is heating up, and we're going to go on to forming our pizza.
Chef, we do have another question.
Go ahead.
Do you ever puree your own tomato sauce?
Again, what puree is strained tomatoes. That means there's no seeds, there's no pulp, there's nothing in a tomato except straight tomatoes. And they're really not that popular here in the United States. You can buy the Palmy brand strained tomatoes. You can buy some of the good brands make a strained tomato, and it's called Puree on the can.
Okay.
So
But-
usually they only sell them in the big cans though, and you got to open a whole big can to do something like this is a little bit too much, but unfortunately that's the way it's packaged here in the United States. We don't use a lot of it. We like our sauces chunky, or we like them whole, or what have you. And if you look at the cooks on the TV, that's what they're using too. So people usually follow what they're doing.
I imagine we could puree our own tomato sauce, though.
Good. They have the well, that's all my mother did in the early days when we had our sauce, or our pasta sauce, and they had those instruments where you would put the tomatoes in and you turn it, and
Mhm.
all the sauce would come out of it, strained, and what's left
Yep.
in the top is the pulp and the seeds,
Yep.
which you dispense of. So yeah, there are instruments out there for doing just that. But
Mhm.
as far as doing it in the processor, you can't do it because you're still going to have the pulp and seeds and so forth in there. Even though you push them down to almost nothing, they're still going to be there, and they do affect the flavor of it. But people love that too. So it's all a matter of taste.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions before we go on?
I don't see any other questions.
Good. Okay, we're going to form our pizza now, and I'm going to use I like to use parchment paper to form my pizza on. A lot of people use the peel, you know, that big shovel that you use, you put it in the oven, taking it out. I find that kind of bulky, so to speak, to use it. I like to use the parchment paper. And you might say, well, won't that affect the pizza, the crispiness of it or the taste of it? It doesn't at all. I find that it actually enhances the crust. This is what I like to do because it's right in front of me and I can spread it out in any direction that I want. So that's what I'm going to do today.
Parchment paper is wonderful. It's a
It's
wonderful
really
thing.
helpful. I never used it years ago, but today it seems like everybody uses parchment paper and it's
Yeah.
really handy.
Mhm.
Okay. That's what we're doing here.
Is
This
it
is
ready?
busy. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
that
yeah.
or not.
Mhm.
So it certainly has been 15 minutes, so
Yeah.
Also, you know, this is enough for two 10-inch pizzas, but I don't want to make a 10-inch pizza for you today. I'm going to make one bigger pizza. Well,
Ooh.
instead of the 10-inch one, I'm going to use about 2/3 of the dough, and I'm going to make one bigger pizza.
Okay.
Started with that.
I think we're all up for that. Oh, look at that beautiful dough. Oh. Has that almost
Once we get it
doubled?
in the oven, though, it cooks very fast.
Yeah.
That's why we have all that heat to cook it fast. In fact, if you cook your pizza in the manner I just described, that would
Mhm.
be equal to a pizza that was made in a brick oven. Sometimes you go out to the restaurant and they say brick oven pizza. That's what you're going to have when you finish the pizza this way.
Oof. Is anybody getting hungry or is it just me? Yes.
Wait till the smell comes, then. Okay. The way I do it, I punch it down first.
Right.
You see that?
Yep. Yeah. I take it you're not going to twirl it over your head.
I'm not going to do that. No, I like making pizza, but I haven't reached that stage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pressing harder on the edges, spreading it out as far as I can, and then I'm going to move inside and do another spread.
Okay. Chef, as you're doing that, we have a question. Is this going to be a thin or a thick crust? And does it matter?
It's what you like, your preference, but this is going to be a little bit thicker. This is Neapolitan pizza is thicker. Roman pizza is the thin crust.
Ah,
That's a totally, you do it a little bit differently in the way that you don't make a crust on it, you leave it as flat as you can. And that's very good too. But I'm trying to follow the original recipe for this.
uh-huh.
So we're going to have a thicker crust on these.
Oof. Looks so good already. It's not even, you know, baked and it looks
Forming
yummy.
it in a rectangular sort of because it'll fit on the oven stone better.
Okay. And again, I'm loving your technique because you're gentle with the dough. I mean, you're firm but gentle. You, you're
Thank you.
telling the dough, I want you to do this, but you're not pounding the dough.
Oh, no, 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 no.
No,
Isn't gentle always better?
gentle is better.
I'm a little bit off center here, but I think it'll work.
That's all right. So am I.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Is anybody else off center here? Okay. Oh no, we have some people who are absolutely centered. Good for you. I'm a little off.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to tuck the ends in a little bit to form my crust.
Okay. Ah,
These
look at
crusts,
that.
when they're done, these crusts, they are so delicious. Usually on a pizza, I don't eat the crust, I throw it away. Or they say they're dog bones, you give them to the dog. They like it a lot. And I have a grand dog, incidentally. I don't have a dog myself, but my daughter has a dog.
We have a lovely comment that in your gentle way with the dough, you are practicing nonviolence.
Oh, I'll take that. Okay.
And again, I'm assuming that your hands will tell you when it's ready. Your hands are feeling this. Is that right, Chef?
Yeah. What you're trying to do is spread the dough evenly, and you don't want to leave it high in one area and low in the other area.
Okay.
And this part of it is done. And guess what I'm going to do next?
Oh.
Let's see. I'm going to brush it with olive oil.
Oh, more olive oil. Yay.
Olive oil. Oh, I can't live without it.
Oh, look at that. Mm. I swear I can smell it.
Olive oil makes it more crusty, and most importantly, it adds to the flavor.
Flavor, 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 right, Chef?
Everything's the flavor. It's the whole purpose of making it. Enjoy the flavor. Sometimes you get a pizza that's not so good, and it's just no fun. It doesn't taste good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have a comment. I usually use a rolling pin, but I think I will just use my hands.
Oh yeah.
Olive oil is definitely a must.
The rolling pin for pizza, I don't. You could use it, but I don't like it because it presses out some of the air that might be in there, which causes it sometimes to bubble a little bit. But those are things that add to the pizza. It doesn't detract from it.
Aha.
So I wouldn't use it's just as easy to spread it. Sometimes, when you buy the dough in the store, it's pretty rough to work with because you stretch it and then you look at it and it's back again. It's like elastic. And so what you have to do in those cases is stretch it as much as you can and leave it alone for a few minutes and then go back and you'll have better luck spreading it. If it happens the second time, do the same thing. But the pizza dough that you buy that's, been frozen or refrigerated, sometimes those are difficult to work with. What you have to do on those doughs is put them out on your counter hours before you're going to use it, so that it's totally thawed out and it's not cold anymore.
Yeah.
And it'd be better to use at that stage than just taking it out of the refrigerator and using it.
Okay.
All right, I think now we're ready for our sauce. Whoa. Now, also, regarding the sauce, we want to be sure that we don't flood the pizza with sauce. for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you flood the pizza with sauce, it's the center of the pizza is probably not going to cook because it's going to be doughy because it can't get through to get to the heat because of that sauce being in the way. So you want to use the sauce, but you don't want to just pouring sauce everywhere. And that's true with the Italians, even with the pasta. They don't put a lot of sauce on the pasta like we do here in the United States. And they never eat it as a main meal there. It's always a first course. So there's a difference between Italian cooking and Italian American cooking. And, you know, sometimes if you go to Italy and you start talking about what you're making, they have no idea what you're doing. Okay, here I go.
Here he goes. Oh, you are so gentle with that sauce. Look at that. Puddle, 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 it looks like from out here.
Well, I'm going to spread it a little bit too. But
Okay.
I just want to start this way because I don't want to flood it, like I said.
Oh, that looks so good.
I tell you, it's smelling good right now.
Yeah. Well, my stomach is grumbling. I have a feeling I know what everybody's going to do on this Zoom call after we watch the pizza. Oh, yeah, I see you are definitely, you're not flooding that dough at all.
Not at all.
Have you used half of it at this point?
Probably just a little bit more than half.
Okay.
Okay, that's about it. Okay, now we're going to add the cheese.
What kind of cheese, chef?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. Mm.
Promise I have another cheese in here. Yeah, they have another cheese that's soft and melts like mozzarella. It's called scamosa. And sometimes, like I can remember asking my cousin who lives down in the Fairfield area about the pizza they get down there. She said, "Oh, it's wonderful. The scamosa is wonderful." I said, "Scamosa? What are you talking about?" But there are places where they use scamosa instead of mozzarella.
Oh, who knew? I didn't know. Scamosa. Excuse me, scamosa.
In fact, I have something to show you here. I happen to like scamosa too, so here's what a scamosa looks like.
Wow.
It's tied with like a little rope around it. It's so
Yeah.
authentic Italian looking that I can't refuse not buying it. I can't go buy it. I have to buy it. Carlos,
Did
would you
anybody
put
else
that-
know? Anybody else here know about scamosa? Okay, I didn't know either. Another revelation. All right, chef. Now, chef, you're slicing your mozzarella, see?
Yes. Again, we don't cover the whole thing with it. We only spread it around like in pieces like this.
Easy does it, right?
Yep.
Oh boy. I can already taste that in my mouth. Oh. So are you going to use the scamosa today, or just the mozzarella?
Just the mozzarella.
Okay.
That's what the recipe calls for mozzarella too.
Now in Hoboken, New Jersey, where I used to
New
live,
Jersey's a great place for pizza.
and they used to make their own mozzarella, but the locals didn't call it mozzarella. They called it mozz.
Mux.
Mozz. Mozz.
That's just an easy way of saying it without having to say the whole name.
Yes. Yeah.
So you put that in the fridge, please. Mozz. That's mozz for mozzarella.
Yes, that's right.
I'm going to put some basil leaves on now.
Oh, nice. Chef, the
Yeah.
napkin that you just used is a little in our way. We can't quite see.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you putting the basil right beside the mozz?
In the
Or
hole where there's nothing, I'm putting the basil.
oh, I see. I see. Okay.
This is actually when the pizza's done, the basil is going to crisp up a little because of the intense heat, but the flavor is there. That's the main thing. Good. I'm going to show you this in a minute.
Okay. Oh, looks so good.
Good.
Is it going in?
Yeah, the oven is ready finally. Yes.
Oh, hooray.
I'm going to transfer it to another pan here so I can carry it to the oven.
Once
Hold that for me, please.
you have
Because I
another
went too far to the edge here. I'm going to add another piece of parchment paper because I don't want it to slide off.
Oh, okay. Pardon me, Chef. We do have an interesting question once you're ready for it. But we know this is a little delicate. On you go.
There it is before it bakes.
Ah, it looks gorgeous.
Probably one thing more I should add is a little bit of salt.
A little bit of salt. Chef, this is a really interesting question. I usually cook my crust before putting all the ingredients on. Is there any advantage of doing that?
Reason why you do that really is because sometimes it cooks more. It cooks quickly because it's exposed more on the crust. So it overcooks sometimes where the other pizza is not ready yet. So by pre-cooking it like that, you're able to put your topping on it after that and stick it in the oven and get it out of there without what should I say? Without it falling apart, should I say? Or I'm not sure, but pre-cooking is not necessary really. Not when you're doing it this method. This is the hot oven method. This pizza is going to cook in about 10 minutes, maybe a couple minutes longer. I'll check it after 10 minutes.
Okay.
And whereas the other kind of pizza, if you were doing it your way, you're talking about a 20-minute deal. And so you try to balance what you're putting in the oven so something doesn't burn and something is going to cook. It all depends on the toppings that you're going to put on also.
Okay. Wow.
Things that are going to be easy to cook and fast, I would put it on right at the beginning. But if you have things that don't have to cook very long, that way it will be fine.
Chef, I don't know if you can see, but in the Lisa Sheehan household, there is a pizza being put together there at the same time.
Who's doing it? Oh.
Yes.
How
Dawn,
are you doing?
see? Look at that.
Oh, beautiful. Hey.
All right.
That's Lisa. She did the gnocchi also.
That's right. She did.
She's a trooper.
She is a trooper. All right. Is it going in the oven
now?
Okay. And one of us has had to go, but she's saying, Buon appetito, mangia.
Okay, now we gotta wait for about 10 minutes or so for our pizza to get done. And of course, after we're finished with this cooking demonstration, we're gonna move right into the drawing. And so we'll be going there in a few minutes. The southern part of Italy is where my grandparents came from. My grandfather on my mother's side was from the Naples area, and my grandmother and grandfather on my father's side were from Calabria, which is the southernmost region of Italy. And they came over in the 30s, and they had a couple of children, I believe, born in Italy, and then the rest of them were born in this country here. My father was the youngest of his family, and it's interesting how things were at that time, because my father understood Italian, but he never spoke it because he wasn't allowed to speak it in his house. In those days, they said, "You're an American, you talk English, you don't talk Italian." So that's what happened in that particular case. And then, of course, if he didn't talk it, I was never able to talk it too, which is something I wanted to do my whole life, actually. But, it's never too late. You never know, right?
See. See. Chef,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, in the interest of time,
Yes.
if it would be all right if we did the drawing.
Absolutely. That's a good idea.
Okay.
We're going to move to another part. So Carlos is going to have to move the screen. So
Okay.
just bear with it, okay?
All right.
We'll be right with you.
All righty. So we're going to be moving to the drawing. I'm going to find out who won the pizza stone and the pizza cutter and something else, which I can't remember right now.
I don't know. Let me take a look here. Turn the screen down.
Yeah, it's a little dark, but we can see.
Okay, the lights, unfortunately, all the lights are on over here.
Okay.
Move it this way a little bit, Carlos. Can you see everything here?
Yeah, we need a little bit more of the table, just a little bit. That's it. Okay. Perfecto.
We really want a widespread picture here because I have a guest here today. I'm going to be pulling the winning ticket. And can you see her?
Yes, we can.
She's over here. Can you see her?
Yep, we can see her. Hi.
This is my beautiful sister, Connie.
Ciao.
Francis, this is another Connie here. I said, she's a beauty. She's wonderful.
Yes, she is.
And she only lives 2 doors away from me, too.
Oh, how wonderful.
Are you seeing this all right?
Yep, we are.
Right over here is the prize. It's a cookie pizza making kit. It has a pizza stone, and it has one of those peels I told you about, the shovel-like item, and it has a pizza cutter. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful gift. I hope the person that wins it will get a lot of use out of it.
Great.
And also, the way we're going to do this, my sister is going to pull the ticket, just one ticket, and I'm going to read the number off, and Kathy is going to check to see who purchased that ticket, and that's how we will determine who the winner is.
Oh.
You all ready?
Hey, we're ready. Drum roll. The excitement is building.
I'm mixing them up as much as I can here.
Oh.
I don't have sticky fingers anymore.
Okay. Who shall it be? Who shall it be?
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Pick one ticket.
We are waiting with bated breath.
Here we go.
Who
And
shall
the winner is, the winning ticket number is 63. 63. The winning number is 63.
Number 63 is Barbara Schaefer.
Woohoo!
I didn't hear it.
Barbara Schaefer.
Hey! Barbara Schaefer. She's
Barbara Schaefer.
Thursday in my class, and she's a licensed Unity teacher, and she's very, very, very Unity oriented, and she's just a beautiful lady, and we're so happy to have her as part of our group. And so, Barbara, not to worry, we'll make sure you get your gift.
Yay.
Congratulations. Sister, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Beautiful job. Yay. Fantastico.
All right, we're gonna, you know what? We don't have to really go back there because when I take the pizza out, I'm gonna bring it over to show you and then I'm gonna put it on the table over here. So why don't we just stay like this for now?
Okay.
Let me see where we are on the,
What's it smell like, Chef?
oh, heavenly, heavenly.
I'll turn on the smell thing and you can smell it on the camera.
Thank you, Carlos. He's been waiting for that.
Yes.
It still has about, I would estimate about 5 more minutes or so.
5 more minutes.
So
Okay.
do you want to do a dance, Carlos?
Oh, no.
Been a pleasure doing this for you, and I'm so happy that this is a way in which I could help out for our Peace Center. You know,
Wonderful.
we are a
Chef,
thriving community. We are a beautiful community, and but like any other beautiful community, we do need some funds to operate, and this will go a long way towards paying some of our bills. So that pleases me very much.
and it pleases us too. Now, does your niece have a question? Did I just see you put your hand up? Yes. Would you like to take yourself off mute and ask a question? You just click on that little microphone down in the bottom left-hand corner. There you go.
Okay, my
Hi.
question is, can I come over and have a slice of pizza when it's all done?
How far away are you?
I'm right next door.
Absolutely, of course.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
That's great.
I
Yay.
mean, he loves everything that I make. So,
Yes, I do. He cooks very good.
Oh, I
you
can.
know, because I like to cook, I always cook more than what I need for myself. So I have the convenience of having my sister, my brother-in-law, who loves everything that I make. He's only a couple doors away.
And he's
And
married.
Lori's only down around the corner. So we have plenty of people around who like it. My sister
Well-
loves it too, right?
Oh, I love it very much. Yes. I want to just say that if my mother and my father were always very proud of my brother, but I know if they were able to see him today, they would be really, really proud of him
Oh,
even more.
thank you,
Yeah,
sister.
he's so
Oh, my
professional.
gosh. I didn't expect that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. How's
We're
that
all-
for a compliment?
We're all feeling the love, Chef.
Thank you.
We're all feeling the love. Anybody else have, oh, look, here's something else. From Barbara. Margie and I visited the island of Capri on our cruise of the Mediterranean Sea. We took a tram to the top of the mountain, which had a magnificent panoramic view of the Mediterranean Sea. Oh, that's wonderful, Barbara. So it's wonderful that you got the pizza stone. Fantastic.
He's a,
And
I can
Ray,
tell you now, if he was there, there's a part
Yeah.
of it that never leaves you once you're there.
oh, yeah.
It's there
Wow.
somewhere.
He is a great chef. Hello from Carol to my family in Bristol. Yay. You are a
Thank
great
you.
chef.
Wow.
Has anybody here been to Italy beside Barbara and Chef? Oh, Cecilia has.
Rob and Ellie was there.
Ellie and Rob have. Carol, you have. Well, please take yourself off mute while we're waiting for the pizza and tell us what your memories are. Ellie and Rob, go right ahead.
We went to Capri also. We were with our parents, actually, had a bus tour from Holland to Italy. And we went to Capri, and it was beautiful there, and loved the food and the wines, of course, and yeah, beautiful countryside,
Wow, nice.
beautiful water. The color of the water was so blue and very, very gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah, we have pictures of ourselves at the Blue Grotto. This is back almost 30 years ago now, but it was beautiful. Don't
Yeah.
forget it.
Wow, isn't that neat, Chef, to know?
Yes, yes. I'm taking the pizza out of the oven. I had to run over here. Carlos, can you help me for a moment, please?
Why, certainly.
And I'm going to read to you from Susan is saying, for one day, she was in Italy, and everything was closed for lunch. Oh, we had an amazing lunch at a tiny local restaurant above the shops. No one spoke English. We had a great time. Yay. And Cecilia, you were also?
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I was there in another lifetime when my parents were alive and my brother was studying in Rome.
Uh-huh.
We visited Rome and Assisi, and I had no idea what it would be like. Oh, that looks delicious. I'm
Oh.
coming over, Chef. I'm coming over.
Look at
Margarita.
Oh, pizza margarita.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
I want to,
Wow.
again, I want to thank everybody for their participation and again, I'm so happy to be part of the group, part of this community. I'm very proud of it, and I enjoy it. It's a big part of my life, and I love, of course, I love everyone, but our beautiful minister Carolyn she's so special, so special, and I tell you, she's steeped in spiritualism, and she just reeks of it, so to speak. And just being around her is very uplifting. And this is an opportunity to thank her for all the years of service that she's given us, for all the wonderful work that she's done. And we love you so much.
Oh, Chef, thank you. I love you so much. I love everybody here. And I also want to thank Kathy Mathiasen and Jean Tom for all your amazing work. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I double dog dare you not to smell garlic in the next.
It smells absolutely wonderful in here, like you're walking into a pizzeria.
Oh,
I would like to say, until I see you again, arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.
ciao, ciao, Bella. Ciao. Ciao, Carlos. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, Jean. Ciao, Chef. Ciao, Mark. Ciao, Cecilia. Ciao, Barbara. Ciao, Heather. Ciao, Susan. Ciao, Carol. Ciao, Dawn. Oh, look at the other pizza. Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful.
Oh, look at that one. That's a good one too.
Ciao, everyone.
Bye.
There's going to be 2 pizza parties going on somewhere this afternoon.
Yeah. Manda,
Thank you
manda.
so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Carlos, turn this off.